Some of my biggest leaders started out as customers. They're like, yeah, there's so many people that, would benefit from this. I have a group that I invite people into, and inside that group, we have free challenges, a freebie with giveaways. You can do walking challenges, you can do water challenges, you can do sleeping challenges, you can do personal development challenges.
She literally personally generates hundreds of leads every week. She did 555,000 in sales last year, and this is from strangers. She recruited 120 plus people last year, people she does not know. She does a lot of lives and reels, and she's in her stories, and she's very, very consistent with her messaging. Like, she says the same stuff over and over and over and over again, and it freaking works. And all the while, working from home.
Like, I literally lead 70-30, but with customers, and then customers, as they get their experience, they're dropping weight, they're feeling amazing. Then some of my biggest leaders started out as customers. They would be a customer for 6 months to a year. They have these amazing results already. So when I was able to pop them the question again, there was like no doubt. They're like, yeah, there's so many people that, would benefit from this. Right. I'll share the whole flow and how that works. But before I send them their link, I say, okay, I'm going to create a link for you here super quick, but I'm wondering, like, if I could show you how you could use social media and these products to literally grow your MBA, would this be something you'd be interested in learning more about? And they'll be like, MBA? I'm like, yeah, your massive bank account, because nobody knows what that is. So you got to make sure to plug that in all the time. And out of those 1,400 customers that I got last year, every one of them told me no. Plus, there was other people who ignored me. Some people are like, 10 people tell you no, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna quit. The products are too expensive. Nobody likes me. I don't know what to do. Your brother-in-law makes fun of you. You're like, he's right. I feel stupid because I don't know what I'm doing. Someone that you really love and trust, like your mother-in-law or your best friend, is like, I can't believe you're doing that. Why are you? And you're like, well, they don't even take care of themselves. They don't have the financial freedom that I want. You shouldn't be taking advice from those people. It's like, just like John says, you have to start at suck. I got 1,400 no's, probably more like 1,600 no's, and 120 yeses. Like, that's how many people, what is it? I've always heard you say you got to marry the process and divorce the results.
That's
like
it.
I've taken all the emotion out of it, except for when people, like, I connect with people, like I do most things in talk texting, but everything like has a specific like process or flow. But yeah, popping the question, if I could show you how you could grow your MBA utilizing, these supplements that I'm getting ready to share with you more about, like, would you be interested in learning more? Yes or no? And they say no. And then after they have amazing results, I'm like, well, are you sure you don't have friends and family? And you'd like to get, I could help you get a paycheck. And if they say no again, that's fine.
Well, and it's funny too, because I get people that are like, oh, I don't want to, say that question, or I don't like to ask this question, or it's like, figure out what works for you. This is what works for Ashley. Figure out what works for you so you can do it consistently and confidently. For some of you, you might need to use audio, like Ashley said, right? Audio text is awesome because they can hear your excitement, your enthusiasm. But I think sometimes, people send these like really scripted messages, and they're really long, and they're like not getting responses. And if you do something for a day or two and it's not working, it's a day or two. If you do something for like a year or two and it's not working, maybe it's time to make some changes. Maybe it's time to step it up and do it a little differently. But I think one of the most powerful things that she mentioned is that 1,400 people became customers, but said no to the opportunity. But then down the road, as they're getting results on the products, she stays in touch. She continues to nurture that relationship, and they're in her groups. They're seeing the results from the not just their personal results, but the community that they're a part of. And that's why it's so important to get people plugged in, because if you just make a sale one time, that's not exciting, right? It's about building a long-term relationship and helping this person through their health journey or whatever products you're selling and promoting. So, Ashley, what does that look like for you? With the follow-up, you said a lot of your social marketers started off as customers. So what does your follow-up look like to get those people, like helping them get the best results, getting them plugged in to your community?
I have a group that I invite people into, and inside that group, we have free challenges. We have giveaways, like I'll give away I'll put together my own little package, 5-day, whatever, like 5-day system. So I have giveaways in there. We've got we're going to do a no sugar 5-day detox. freebie with giveaways inside a group. You can do walking challenges, you can do water challenges, you can do sleeping challenges, you can do personal development challenges, you can do, I don't know, going outside for 10 minutes a day challenges, like whatever, like all sorts of fun stuff like that. I
And
think that's what we
do you
need.
find that that gets a lot of those customers more engaged in the groups?
Yes, it really does. That's kind of been like the foundation for being able to like keep customers and they get to like know, like, and trust you. And then of course, we throw in, other things that we're doing in different systems and different supplements and new product launches and things. And they're already paying attention from the freebies and things that we do in the group. So I do think that's very helpful.
But Facebook groups are powerful. And if you're
Yeah.
not leveraging Facebook groups, I think you're missing the boat. Now, in the beginning, you don't have a team. You're a team of one. You're a team of
Mhm.
very few, right? But
Mhm.
eventually, how cool would it be for you and your team to do these challenges together, to do these giveaways together, and you can have different people show up and help out and support the community. So it's not just the one thing I like about groups. It's not just you. And because they're plugging into the community, like Ashley said, they build that know, like, and trust. So when you have a sale, when you have a new product, it's a lot easier to get them to pay attention because they feel like they're getting so much out of the group. And then, of course, if somebody's really engaged in the group, why wouldn't you share the opportunity with them? I think a lot of us were afraid of talking about the business. And I get this a lot too. How many of you have ever said this? Like, I don't want to recruit people because I don't know how to mentor them. I don't know what to do with them. How many of us struggle with that?
Mhm.
Remember, that's why you have an upline, right?
Yep.
That's why you have a team. And actually, even if you don't have a good upline, you have sideline. Everybody has to start somewhere. But I do think one of the things that's really important too is the freebie. Can you maybe
Yes.
talk about the freebie? Because that's how you're generating hundreds of leads a week. What does
Yeah.
that look like in a simple way?
Well, just today for my live, when I got off of my live, I had 52 new leads who were interested in my freebie just on TikTok. Now, I don't know what Instagram and Facebook was, but just on TikTok, there was 52 new leads. For having a freebie is really important, especially in the beginning. If you're like, I have no, like maybe like your thing is hormones, or your thing is gut health, or your thing is nutrition, or your thing is how to eat more protein, or how to have clear skin, whatever. Everybody has a thing. And if you don't have it yet, I started with protein. I'm still protein, but kind of moving toward hormones, but you'll find it, right? And as you have, maybe your thing right now is just nutrition, whatever. Like I literally created for completely free in the beginning, a 7-day high protein nutrition guide. And I would go live and be like, yeah, I was sharing how I dropped 30 pounds. And I'm like, the foundation's your nutrition. Well, I created a free guide for you. All you got to do is follow it. Everything's laid out for you. 7-day high protein meal guide. Comment below protein, right? And there would be like 300 people messaging me a day for this protein guide. Well, finally, we learned to put the protein guide in the featured post in the group. So we didn't miss that. We were missing out. We missed out on thousands of leads before we ever did this. Thousands and
Wow.
thousands.
Because they were joining the group, but they weren't getting on the list.
Well, what they were doing was getting the freebie from me, and then we had no other connection. And I
Ah,
was like, crap, I don't know what to like. I gave you my guide and I've been following up with you, but you're not really interested in anything else because I don't know, like they're coming and watching me do the same live every day. We were just missing out on it. We weren't doing
mm,
anything besides here's your freebie. I mean, I would always pop the question, curious, what are your health goals? Weight
yeah.
loss, inflammation, better gut health, leaner muscle, all of the above, whatever, before I even started popping that question. So yeah, we were losing him. So we decided let's get them into the group. And now my whole team does this. My whole team, they'll just educate and be like, hey, I have this freebie. And then, you're not selling, you don't feel icky. And we get people in the group and they tag them in the featured post. And then while they're in there, we have some kind of challenge coming up. We have some kind of freebie coming up. Yeah, you just got to keep your group active. Don't it's a very important place to keep active. I mean, I was in the airport yesterday and I was like, crap, I didn't share anything in my group. So I was like, ChatGPT, what can you put in my health and wellness group? So, and I just like copied and pasted and added a picture and put it in my group. And like all these people like, oh my gosh, thank you for this, and I was like, I literally created it in like 30 seconds from
And
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT pretty much helps you create all your freebies.
Yeah, all of them. We got a menopause. We've got I didn't make it, but one of my friends made a coffee guide. We have a lot of guides, 5-day guide. We have a couple different guides because there's a couple different niches in there. So I wanted everybody to have a guide to guide their people back to because not everybody cares about protein and fat loss like I do. Some of them care more
Yeah.
just about, hormones and stuff. So
It is frustrating in the beginning when you don't know what your freebie should be. So you have
yeah.
to test out different conversations, right? You just got to test it out. But again, Like you can use ChatGPT to help you with even that.
Yeah.
Figure out like who do I want to attract? Who do I want to help? What kind of product do I want to? Because, Ashley really leans into protein, the 5-day reset, gut
Yep.
health, fitness, maybe some biohacking, but you might not be interested in that. You got to figure this out for yourself. You're a grown ass adult. Figure it out. You got to play with it. You have to be okay to start small. Like I said,
Yep.
embrace the suck. You're going to suck in the beginning. It just is what it is. But the only way you're going to figure that out is by consistently putting it out there. And I think what all of you should do if you're struggling with this is go all in for like 2 weeks, doing reels, live videos, stories, and promote a specific target demographic that you can help with
Yep.
solving a problem. All we do is solve problems for profits. That's it.
Mhm.
So that free guide is great because it's free. It's free. They're just exchanging their email or phone number. They're getting in that group. Now they're in the group. Now you're having a conversation, and you'll be surprised by how many people, they're not just going to buy your stuff right away, but they will raise their hand requesting something for free. This is the whole
Yeah.
point of creating a
Yep.
freebie.
The freebie is important. It will get you lots of leads. If you get them into your group, you educate and take care of them inside the group. Also, another thing we do, just to be extra careful, everybody that comes in, we send them a message. Hey, thanks for coming into my group. I hope you enjoy your freebie. Everything's in the featured post. Curious, what are your health goals? Weight loss, leaner muscle, better gut health, better balanced hormones, or all of the above. They say all of the above. I say, oh, perfect. How much weight are you wanting to drop? 10 pounds or less, I'm leading him to a 5-day reset. 10 pounds or more, I'm leading him to my bigger system, right? And it's just like, it's a whole flow now. Like everything works out. I do my live, they get their freebie, they come into the group, they get popped the question, I find out their health goals, I help them decide what they want. And then if I ever talk to someone, maybe they don't even come in through a freebie, they see me talking about 5-day reset in the live. And then they're like, well, never mind, it's not for me. I'm like, no worries, come into this group. You said you wanted to drop weight. I literally am going to help you come in here and you're going to get a bunch of tips for free. And then they come in there and then it's like the same, another the process over and over. And they get to know, like, and trust that way.
On the back end, so now you got these leads, you got these people in this group, you're getting some customers. What does it look like to start recruiting, right? To start that process, you pop the question, and some of them are like, yeah, I'll take a peek at the opportunity. I wouldn't mind making some extra money or more. What does that look like? What's your process that's worked well for you?
So when they say that they're interested, I have this 2-minute and 50-second video that I send them, and they watch the video. I say, give me a thumbs up when you check it out. They give me a thumbs up. If they don't, most of the time they don't, so I follow up. Hey, hit me. What did you like best about this video? And then they're like, oh, sorry, my dog puked or something when you wrote me, and I forgot. So they watch the video, they give me a thumbs up, they let me know what they like, and I say, oh my gosh, I love everything about this too. Like, this is amazing. I want to introduce you to a couple people on my team who are total rock stars. They totally crush it here. Some of them are making 6 or 7 figures a year. And they started just by sharing with customers. So I set up group chats. I always put John Melton in a chat, Michelle Barnes. I'll pick a couple people from my team. I get them in the chat. And in there is where I edify everyone. I'm like, this is John Melton, my 7-figure earner, our income earner, leader. And then, I'll edify everybody that's in the group and be like, drop your questions below. Everybody will pop in as they can. They're going to share their testimonies. Everybody already knows they have like pre-recorded, testimonies that they share in the group. And then 3 questions. How much money a month would be helpful for you to get started, to find out how much money they want to make? Are you teachable, coachable, and willing to learn and grow? There's another question, though. There is another question that you ask in there. You ask the questions, they answer, just to make sure that they're teachable, coachable, willing to learn and grow. You drop the packages below, and whatever all the savings are, and it's like a whole flow. Like, that's it. Everybody's in there. John's in there. Everybody's in there sharing their testimonies. Sometimes people have a lot of questions. Most of the time, they're just kind of following off of the answering the questions that we're putting there in the group, and it's just like a whole flow. And I remember when I first started, I was like, I will never recruit John. I'm not going to do that. It's because I didn't know what to do. So I earned my first trip where I met Michelle, and she's like, oh no, yeah, you just don't know what you're doing. Here's what you do. Let's play. Send me the text. Here's how it's going to go. We literally like played it right there in the chairs in front of the pool. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. She's like, yeah, now you know. Let's go. I'm like, Okay. And what was it? 5 months later, we were elite. So it's just because I didn't know what I was doing. And it's to some of you, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. It's not. It's like copy and paste.
That really is the beauty, though. It's like in the beginning, you just got to get yourself out of the way. Use the tools. Don't be a fool, right? Use the tools. And the tools are videos, groups, chats, your upline. Like your upline is a tool. Like if you're introducing your prospects to your upline, you are going to make money because
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't join, you're still learning what they're saying and how they're overcoming objections and the things that I say, the things that whoever your upline is. Like if Ashley's your upline, like you're going to learn more from how Ashley interacts with your prospect. And, sometimes in the beginning, it's people right? It's people you have a relationship with. It's more awkward. Like that's why it's so powerful to set up these chats. And everybody takes their time. Like it's not like everybody needs to respond right away. Some people
Right.
respond like a day or two later. But what I like
Yeah.
about that is it brings the chat back up, right? So it keeps that
Yes.
conversation going. And it's such a consistent conversation that I have to have with people because they're like, oh, I talked to 3 people and I'm just waiting to hear back. I'm like, well, cool, but you
Your
didn't
job's
introduce
hard.
them to me. So who'd you introduce them to?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you're trying to do it all by yourself, that's why you're not getting a good ratio of people joining. You're getting a very small percentage of people because they're looking at you. They might be saying no to the messenger, not the message. So this is why it's so powerful to get yourself out of the way ASAP. You should literally I put every single business prospect still today. Do I need to put my business prospects in chats? Probably not. But still today, I put every single business prospect in a chat for 2 reasons. One, I want them to meet other people and get their questions answered. And it becomes more of a validation. Like, wow, look at all these other amazing people doing this. Like everyone's like down to earth and they're not pushy and they're not the way I thought they would be. But number two, they see the system in action. People can duplicate a system.
Mm-hmm.
They can't duplicate a personality. They can't duplicate me or Ashley, but they can duplicate simple steps. So everything you're doing, it's not about where you get the lead from, by the way. It could be warm market, cold market, online, offline, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, lead with the product, lead with the business. That's irrelevant. It's what you do with the lead. That's the duplication.